Hi all, this is Jan of the Jan Files. I hope you will subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would mean a great deal to me. Thank you. We're going to talk about Epstein today. I've got a lot to talk about. I'm going to try to go through it quickly. Hopefully, it'll make sense. So the first thing I found out today that I didn't know from Channel 4, which is Channel 4 in British, it's the British public corporate broadcasting like our PBS, said that they discovered through looking at the Epstein files, looking at the conversations between different FBI agents over the years, because they got the files and some of those files in 2019, and subsequent the 2025 files, that they are calculating, given again numbers that they were looking at, that we haven't even seen 5% of the files. They say we've probably likely seen 2%. I mean, and this is a major news agency, well-respected news agency, right? It's not a crap place. And that's astonishing. Now, I know through what I've read, that we've always talked about 350 gigabytes. They're talking, let me say, what was it? Maybe 20 to 40 terabytes. I mean, that is astonishing. And boy, somebody else needs to pick up on that story. This, again, Channel 4, look it up. Now, the next thing I want to go to is a little bit back and forth with what happened with Bondi the other day, because Todd Blanche came out and said, a few days ago, I don't know, a week ago, that this was it. We're not going to get the next 3 million files, that they're not going to give any more. They were duplicates, or they were this or that. Bullshit. It's just a lie. He doesn't want to give us probably the most important information, right? So what he did, and he said that was it, and there were no investigations. So what does Pam Bondi say the other day in at the hearing? Oh, there are ongoing investigations. You can't make this shit up, folks. It's liar versus liar. Who are you going to believe? Which lie are you going to believe? Which one's truth? Maybe neither of them. I mean, at this point, Pam Bondi is likely lying, because I don't believe her that there are ongoing investigations, and I don't think anybody else does either. So that's another factor. Now, what also happened in the hearing was that when somebody asked about her why they moved Ghislaine Maxwell from a prison for predators to a motel prison in Texas, she said to ask the Bureau of Prisons, Pam, you're the boss of the Bureau of Prisons. Hello? Like she doesn't know the reason? This is farcical. It's so disgusting, but it's farcical. The level of incompetence, the level of lying. And now the additional thing they're doing, they opened up the files so that Congress people can go in and see them. You can't bring anything with you to record it, only a pad and paper, and look up certain things. Or we'll look up whatever you want to look up. Guess what? The DOJ is tracking who looks up what. How did we find that out? Because a photographer caught a picture that she was looking at. She opened the file and he snapped a picture of something that another congressman had printed out. So it's like the deep state is everywhere, right? This is the deep state, folks, not the other shit that they were talking about. This is deep state fascism. They're tracking what they were looking up. That was the other part. Oh, and this one. So the other part, sorry for repeating myself. I'm going to show you, there was a conversation about another Epstein file in reference to what Trump did back in probably 2006, because that's when the investigation of Jeffrey Epstein in Palm Beach happened. After he found out there was an investigation, or it came out that it was an investigation, he actually called Chief Ryder, who was the Palm Beach chief of police, okay? and I may be screwing up Palm Beach and Miami-Dade, sorry, but anyway, the police chief writer. And this is what this email, this is actually an FBI memo, okay? And it was 10/18/2019, so that's October of 2019. This says, sorry, I'm reading it. Donald Trump told blank that he threw Epstein out of his club. Trump called the Palm Beach PD to tell him, thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this. Trump told him people in New York knew Epstein was disgusting. Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. She is evil and to focus on her. Trump told blank that he was around Epstein once when teenagers were present, and Trump got the hell out of there. So, this is from the man who knows nothing, that it's all a hoax, right? This. And this, he didn't contribute to providing evidence, at least we don't know that. This looks to me, this man has said, oh shit, I better cover my ass and look like a good guy and think smartly that they weren't going to pursue him. Okay? The GOP is trying to wave this as a flag that, he was helping out. No, he was not helping out. That's not what this says at all. He was covering his ass. So, another thing. Now, I also want to talk about, and I need to check my list because I constantly forget thing. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk about is the fact of what are the consequences so far. Europe is going after these people with a vengeance. Today, the former Prime Minister of Norway was indicted for gross corruption based on the Epstein files. How long did that take? Keir Starmer's chief of staff has resigned because he recommended another guy, Mandelson, who used to be the ambassador to the United States from Britain, to Starmer. And of course, Mandelson has subsequently had to leave his job. And so they're all being investigated. The Sultan dude from Dubai also had to leave his company. Now, whether or not they're actually going to, prosecute him, I have no idea. But this is, governments across Europe are looking at people and, bringing them to task. They're not covering it up. We are covering it up. So Lutnick, who is our commerce secretary, who lied about being on Epstein's island, lied about even having any contact with him after 2005. He actually created some sort of alliance company, I'm not sure, but a complete liar. He's still in his job. He's still in his job, and he lied about Epstein. Where is the outrage? And I know some people have called for him to resign, but not enough. He's still there. And he's not going to go anywhere, and Trump is not going to fire him. Okay? So that's one example. The other example is Wasserman, Casey Wasserman. Casey Wasserman is chairman of Wasserman Media Agency. He represents music and athletic people, just entertainers of all, whatever, areas. For instance, Chapel Roan. Okay, she found out he was in the Epstein files. She's gone, and I think the woman's last name is Warburg. The really famous soccer player. Of course, not famous enough for me to remember her name. I apologize for that. She left. Anybody else? Not to my knowledge. What else? And what is his other position, folks? Chairman of the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Committee. That's who he also is. And on the board of that committee are some very prominent people. I do have their names somewhere here. Like Jeffrey Katzenberg, like Kevin McCarthy, Secretary of the Treasury, Chow, which is McDonald. Oh my God, it's not McDonald. McConnell's wife. Jessica Alba, Jose Feliciano. So what the committee did is have the attorneys go through the files to see if there was anything worth, him losing his job. They decided no. So here I have a file for you, and this is from, if you look up here, you can see Casey Wasserman. G-Max is Ghislaine Maxwell, okay? So from the bottom up, it's from Ghislaine to Casey. Okay, so that combo did not do it for you. What combo would then? And his response to her, you, me, and not much else. She says, okay, well, you will not have to share me with either a cheddar cheese or a baked bean or a Kit Kat. I don't know what the fuck that means, but whatever. Or anything else. And finally he said, somebody wrote, she said, what about Max? That can be the exception, but only one. He also in another email talked about massage. They don't think this is worth him losing his position. America, folks, where the rich and famous have a whole different set of rules than we do, okay? Especially the very top of the corporate ladder. You know, the Tim Cooks, the Jeff Bezos, the David Sachs, the Peter Thiels, the Bill Ackmans, the Mark Andreessens, all of these people. I'm not saying they're in the Epstein files, but I'm saying they play by different rules. Powerful men and women play by different rules. And we're going to see in the days and months and probably years to come how many of these people are deviant, how many of these people are monsters. And I don't think we can prepare ourselves for the level of what is going to be released. And I think as long as we protect the victims' names, identities, that we should be made to face those photographs and those videos, unless, of course, you have been a victim yourself. But I've also been a victim, but, at this point, I believe if you can handle it, you need to see the emails, you need to see the videos, you need to see the photographs, because we have to provide witness to these survivors. We have to demand the accountability for what looks like an international, it's not a scandal, besides a scandal, it's a horror. It looks like it was probably a very structured, long time operation to use little girls, maybe little boys, as bait, as, sexual toys, and be able to kind of somehow turn that into some kind of currency for whether it's blackmail or whether it's trying to, it's blackmail actually at all points. And folks, I'm going to keep doing this. And I hope you keep talking. I hope you actually, which I should have mentioned before, you can call the Olympic Committee. I don't have the number. You can look it up. The U.S. Olympic Committee. I can't find a number for the Los Angeles one. Call them. Tell them you're disgusted. I'm going to do that. You can do something, okay? And you can talk about this. You can talk about some of these details I've given you. And hang in there. Hang in there, okay? And anytime you want my video to go faster, if you don't want to watch the whole thing or take the time, you can put it on playback 1.25 on YouTube. It will go faster. You'll totally be able to understand what I've said. Take care. Stay safe. Thank you.